freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 524 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by POG Auctions, that's Pot of Gold Estate Auctions, POGauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, coins, ammo, antiques, collectibles, cars, boats, you name it. POGauctions.com. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is engineering confidence, and our guest today is Tamkin Collins. Tamkin is the founder and CEO of Cakes Concealed Carry, a premium handbag redefining what protection looks like for women. An aerospace engineer and mission program manager by training, she spent more than a decade leading high-stakes spacecraft programs for the U.S. Department of Defense and NASA, before launching a company dedicated to empowering women through innovative concealed carry solutions. I want something built by somebody that's an engineer like that.
Well, I bet her bags could, work for men as well, but we're going to find out. Welcome to the show, Miss Tamkin.
Thank you guys so much for that intro. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. What an interesting career arc that you have had, and even at such a young age. You had a stable aerospace career. I love that I'm starting with the word stable because being self-employed people ourselves, we understand, it's a little bit different to have your own business.
There's no stable in being
what made you
absolutely unstable. Unstable.
What made you walk away from that and build this concealed carry handbag company and also move? It looks like you're right in the middle of a move.
Yes, it's all tied together. And honestly, it was all an accident. It was all multiple happy accidents. And it started with, me buying my first handgun. And after 2020, things got kind of weird. We, as a family decided that we wanted to protect ourselves and have that responsibility in our own hands. And, walked into a gun store, bought, didn't even know how to buy a gun. We're from California, so it's kind of hard to do that. And we were honestly worried that it was going to be awkward. They were probably not going to like us, but it ended up being an amazing experience. We ended up becoming fast friends with the gun store owners and learned very quickly how difficult it was to just obtain a firearm. Mm-hmm. And once that was there, we realized that in California, you have to do 16 hours, 3 references, multiple background checks, fingerprints. I think you guys may know about that. But after going through all of that process just to be able to carry my gun outside of my house, then I was faced with the challenge of chafing my belly.
Yes.
I was just I just went through hell to be able to carry this firearm and, make this huge decision. And of course, it's a lifestyle change. We're now committed to carrying every day and being, good stewards of the Second Amendment. But women's bodies are built differently. IWB carry just doesn't work all the time. All the firearms instructors were recommending against bag carry for valid reasons that I agree with. To this day, I still Cakes does not apply to those reasons. And on top of that, I wasn't going to change how I dress. I didn't want to change my identity, and I didn't want to become an unfeminine woman just because I'm protecting myself. So it started with a wife that complained to a husband. And I just nagged him every day. You know how it is. I don't know. Maybe you don't know how. I was just complaining every day, got to carry my Glock in my waistband. Oh, I'm ugly. I got to wear a flannel now. I'm becoming one of those. I'm becoming the stereotype. I got to wear flannels now. And So my husband, he is a you know how I'm an engineer by profession. He's a designer by profession. He's actually kind of a big deal. I always toot his horn because he's the opposite of me in personality. He's super shy and doesn't want attention. But he's a two-time Emmy Award-winning designer. And he decided that his wife is the most special person in the world, and he will design a bag for me.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
Wait,
he
I have to
created,
ask his name so we can have
yeah.
his name on the air.
Yes, a Marcus Collins. And so the two awards that his team got was for designing the dragons in Game of Thrones
Oh,
and for
wow.
doing a lot of the environment design in The Walking Dead. And it's interesting because I can't watch a movie with him without him ruining it for me
Right?
by pointing out special effects. Sometimes just let me believe, just
Yes.
let me believe that
Yes.
I'm in the story. But anyway,
It's like
so
watching a war movie with this guy, and he's like,
oh
yeah, the sound of
gosh.
that gun is all wrong. And no, it doesn't make a click click noise when the whole thing. Same thing.
Yeah, it's like, can we enjoy the movie, please?
No.
Well, Tamkin, I got to give you credit,
Yeah.
okay? Because I'm a grown old man,
Yeah,
and I still get nervous walking into a gun shop I've never been in
it's
before.
true. It's
So I
true.
Oh,
give you a lot of
really?
credit for that. That to me, that's really good, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because just going in, not knowing exactly what you want, how to do it, and finding somebody that you can trust. That great job on the gun shop.
Very
Uh-huh.
scary. Beyond that, I mean, I know we're probably going to squirrel out today, but my husband is black and I'm, an immigrant from Bangladesh and we were ex-liberals. We could talk about that later. But that was very nerve-wracking for us because we were
Mhm.
we were, propagandized and we were
Yeah.
thinking gun people hate us.
Yeah.
It was the opposite.
Right.
We had never been so welcomed in
I
a group
love
of
that.
people than the Second Amendment people. They're
I
like,
love
you like
that.
guns? You want to protect yourself? Welcome to the family. Here's the time for the cookout. Come to my house. Um,
Exactly.
but that was fantastic. But anyways, so the bag, right? He designed the bag, and I was like, cool, thanks. Like, what am I gonna do with this design? And he was just saying, hey, look, let's find a leather crafter. Let's make one bag. You can carry comfortably. I don't care about any other person in this world. My wife is the only woman that matters to me, as it should. And
Right.
so we started just looking who can make this for us. And things were just kind of, and I'm a little picky. I didn't want something that looked super Western. I really wanted something that was modern and trendy. And my dad, my family is from Bangladesh. We immigrated here in the early 90s. And my dad was just saying, hey, I've got family in Bangladesh that own, leather factories. My dad's a huge call, like I don't know, he went to some university and he's friends with everyone still. I don't know how that works. I think in modern days, no one's friends anymore, but he's friends with all his college friends. And one of his college friends was a leather factory owner. And they were like, hey, can you make a bag for my daughter? And she was like, okay, sure. And we worked on a couple of prototypes. And originally, we were thinking about maybe going to one of these big prototyping brands. It's like
Hmm.
$12,000 for one prototype.
Oh,
Oh wow.
wow.
So it was very cost prohibitive to explore this as like a design that could potentially go to manufacturing. So we
Hmm.
decided, hey, you know what? Let's just make one bag for myself. But as soon as that bag was made, it was over. The girls at the range were like, "Is that your CCW bag? Like, how does that work?" And so my husband and I decided to just take a risk. We're like, hey, let's just do a small run of 150 bags and just see what happens, Like it won't be the
Hmm.
end of the world if we don't sell them. Like I'll just give them out to my friends, like whatever. But they sold out in a month.
Wow.
And we had no idea that was not supposed to happen. And then we're thinking, well, if this is going to be a business, can we even afford to do this? Because production is very expensive.
Yeah.
And we got lucky. I was randomly calling SBA lenders, and the guy who called me back was a CCW instructor in LA. And
Oh,
he
wow.
was like, I will personally make sure that your brand gets funded. So he went to bat
Wow.
for us. It was just wild. All of these little coincidences just kept happening. And so we just kind of felt like maybe this is what we're supposed to do. And as we continue to have more and more customers give us feedback, and like I added some more engineering rigor to our bags because not only did it have to be like a cute bag, it needed to be
Yeah.
functionally sound, it needed to be
Hmm.
safe. And there's a
Hmm.
lot of things as a new shooter myself, I was learning in my journey.
Hmm.
And I wanted to come back and start implementing everything. So the good thing was working with a really small factory that was family friend owned. I didn't have a lot of these restrictions that, oh, you got to do 500 minimum order quantity or this and that. It was like, hey, look, you're my friend's daughter. Sure, I'll deal with you and your nonsense. But we were able to iterate so fast when it came to, okay, version one didn't work. It was version four is when we did our first 150. By the time we were a year in business, we had 14 iterations at that point.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Just learning from failures. We had a
Yes.
massive defect happen as well. I had to issue a recall. I thought it was the end. I was like, I'm going to lose my house
Oh,
over this.
oh
But
no.
the customers were so gracious. They were like, hey, we're so glad that you're doing this recall. Thank you for caring about our safety. And ultimately, they kept cakes alive because had they been like, "Hey, everybody, issue me a refund," I'm like, "Well, that's it,
Yeah.
we're done." But
Yeah.
that's where cakes kind of started. And as far as the career transition, that was kind of a big deal because an aerospace DoD career is pretty lucrative.
Mm-hmm.
So it
And
was
stable.
stable, lucrative, all the things, all the
Mhm.
benefits, and I've got like a great relationship with my government customers, like all the colonels. I've sat in meetings with generals. Like I can say that I've done amazing things for this country. As a contractor, obviously, I still got paid to do it. I didn't do it for free.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but ultimately, my heart was in cakes. And, there are days where I was commuting to LA. LA Space Force Base was where I was working out of for when I drove in. I just remember one day I was in the car. I just wanted to cry. And I don't
Mm.
have any kids, but I felt like probably what a mom feels like dropping off their kids at school one day and having to drive to work.
Yeah.
And I was just, I just wanted to cry because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving cakes at home to
Mm-hmm.
go into a freaking skiff and work on
Mm-hmm.
classified crap that I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. Like at this, because in the sensitive areas, no phones, no nothing. Like I'm in there and I don't know what's happening, like what's
Yes.
going on with my company. And
Yes.
that's when I realized I have to do this. I have to do this because otherwise I'm gonna feel like this every day. That every day that I spend not with cakes is a day that I'm yearning to work 24 hours a day on cakes without
Oh
any salary.
man. That's passion. That's the passion, right?
Oh, you
Yeah.
you get paid?
So
I've been
I'm
self-employed.
trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah. We've
It's
been self-employed for most of all of our life. And did we ever get a paycheck? I don't.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
Every once in a while we get
Yeah,
to,
We get the
yeah.
leftovers.
that's what
Um,
it is. It's the leftovers.
so the name cakes, I
Oh my
didn't even
gosh.
plan to ask you that, but you have to ask that, right? Where does
Yeah.
that come from?
Is this going to be a rated G conversation? Um, because
Hmm.
originally this was,
Ideally, but go ahead.
yeah.
It will be as
Okay.
long as I don't open my mouth.
Yes. We'll just keep it as PG as possible. But originally, so I have a nickname. My husband calls me Tammy Cakes sometimes. It's because of a rotund tush that I possess. And I always just
Proudly.
thought, yes, proudly possess. And I thought that, it's kind of a play on words, like cakes concealed, like, covering up your, like the good parts,
Yeah,
because it's nobody's business what's concealed,
I
but it's
like
also
it.
nobody's business what's in my bag because I have my
Exactly.
firearm in there. So it's a little bit play on like, covering up the good parts.
I love
So
it.
I just went for it. And as soon as Marcus was like, hey, we might do this as a business, I just bought the domain and everything. He got mad. He was like, you didn't even talk to me about the name. And I was like, nope, this is the name. It's named after booty. So,
That's
but
I guess
fantastic.
better than booty bag.
I guess
yeah, oh,
it could
booty
have
bag is
worked.
actually a good one. But yeah, we just did cakes concealed, and it's very much a play on like, we hide the good parts.
That's awesome. And it's alliteration,
Yeah.
I really like that. So, you say that it's the cakes is not just a handbag brand, but an actual movement. And, it makes me wonder, what is it that women are really missing in the protection space right now?
I think women have been ignored, and I honestly, as someone who bought their first firearm in 2023, I didn't even realize. I just knew it was a very American thing to own a firearm and exercise your Second Amendment. But being in a room that was an ocean full of men that are
Mm,
tactical bros and being the two
mhm,
girls in the back, um,
mhm.
we were definitely not the demographic, not in the CCW space. And I'm thinking it's California, like,
Mhm.
I would see a little bit more diversity in that room, but no, it was macho guys who wanted to have a gun, which is great. Everyone should carry a firearm. That's my belief. But I wanted to see more women there. And I think what was missing was everything that was recommended by the instructors. Mind you, they are great instructors. I think they did a fantastic job. Um, but they have to cater to their class, and their
Mhm.
class was a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when I was shopping for, okay, how am I gonna, before we built cakes, I went shopping for a bag because I knew that I needed something when I wasn't going to carry in the waistband. There had to be another option because I'm not leaving the house without my gun, like,
Yeah.
period. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. And that's when I realized that everything is tactical. Like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
how ugly. And I was just
Mhm.
going through the internet and I was like, we're in 2023
Mhm.
and there is nothing cute. Like, this is
Mhm.
ridiculous. And
Mhm.
that's when, and of course, off-body carry is not new. And I say this in every podcast, is like there's bags, right? But there's nothing that a woman will actually wear. And ultimately, after Cakes was born, I'm hearing back from a lot of the instructors that are, like training with the bags, and they're saying the women will walk into the class, try the bag, and say, "This, I can do this," versus like committing to wearing flannels or committing to having a Glock 19 in my waistband, which, by the way, I don't know what happened. Everyone's like, look, you can't go smaller than a Glock 19 and you gotta wear an appendix. And I was just like, can you imagine? I mean, I'm gonna say it. Imagine being on your period and your stomach hurts. And you
Yeah.
got that freaking frame riding
Yeah.
right up against your uterus.
Yeah.
It is just not good. So
Yeah.
ultimately, I think women have been ignored for a long time. I think that's changing. I think Cakes was first to market when it comes to doing something for women that's actually cute and actually on trend with current times fashion and still accessible with a rapid deployment mechanism. And it sits appendix. And any of those other gun bags was very much, hey, I have a gun. Look at my
Mhm.
Velcro American flag patch and my "Don't
Mhm.
tread on me" sticker. Mind you,
Mhm.
I have a flag. I "Don't tread on me" flag. But when I go
Yes.
outside, I try to just look like a normal, inconspicuous woman.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's what was missing. And I think and that gap is being filled very quickly. And there's several other brands I think that are stepping up. And one thing about me and Cakes that we'll always stand by is that there is no competition when it comes to selling product because Cakes' mission is to arm women. And if it's not with Cakes and we can help that woman find a bag that isn't Cakes, but or isn't, one of our products, it's okay because
Mhm.
the goal is to help that woman get armed and
Yeah.
trained to safely protect herself.
Yes.
Well, Tamkin, I have to make a comment. I've been in this business all my life, and I had a gun shop in the 80s. And a woman never walked into a gun shop unless she was picking something up for her husband. That's the way it used to be. And the best thing that ever happened to this industry is when women got involved.
Mhm.
And they're the ones that are going to change it so that we can own guns
Mhm.
because the men weren't doing anything. And I just want to thank you for making an opportunity for other women to be comfortable in what they carry.
Mhm.
Thank
Agreed.
you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, don't make me cry.
No, it's really that important.
Yeah.
So, my thing, with polka dots, I say polka dots are my camo
Mm.
because I dress feminine, right? And polka dots just kind of happened to be a thing for me. And the way that it just kind of came about was so natural and it resonated with people for that exact same reason that you're talking about, is I am not going to change how I dress and who I am around a particular tool of self-protection. Now, it is important enough to do those things, but I know that we can have our cake and eat it
And eat it
too,
too.
right?
Oh my God. That was so good.
And so it's exactly what you're saying. Like when I went to do a really intense training one time, and I realized, oh, wait, no, the requirements are I have to wear pants that have a big, strong belt, and I have to have an out of the waistband carry holster. And, I'm going to be firing like 200 rounds over the course of 2 days. And I need a big enough frame gun that it's not going to wreck my hand by the end of
Hmm.
it all, because it'll absorb the energy, the bigger the gun frame, all the things. And it started with the pants. I went to like a 511, and I mean, they're doing a good job, but I had to buy like 3 sizes bigger than what I normally wear just to get them over my booty, right? Because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
curvy girl. And
Yes.
then the waistband standing way out here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I didn't want to sit right. The whole thing was just
Oh my
tear
gosh. And
inducing.
the belt sits like this, where
Yes.
your waist goes like this. So it's like,
Yes.
what is that?
And I'm just
More to
like, I
come from
wanted to
Cakes
go
on that.
cry.
Yeah,
But say
it's
that again?
no, I mean, I feel exactly that pain. And these are the problems that we're trying to solve with Cakes. And and when I said more to come from Cakes is that we want to solve all the problems, and we want to basically become an armed female lifestyle brand in the future. We started with the bags, but we want to empower women in every single way we can. But this exact situation that you're describing is just like it's like me again. Like I'm reliving that same situation because I do a lot of tactical training as well.
Mhm.
Um, the other side of me is I am a little bit of a prepper, and I try to train for bad times.
Sure.
And one of the things that we would do, me and my neighbors actually, we would go tactically train to be able to do like small unit operations if we ever needed to, hoping
Yeah.
that we don't, which includes
Right.
ham radio, which includes a lot of things like beyond just running and gunning. It's like, can you carry your 200-pound friend to safety if he's down? Because
I
the
love it.
answer that I found out is I can't.
Yeah.
So we we
We
have
need
to
a plan
really
B.
100%. So, ultimately, Cakes is supposed to be very gray woman. You hear the term gray man. Like it's supposed to be very gray woman. It's that you look like you want to look every single day, but
Mm-hmm.
you can be armed and you can protect yourself and you can have, a spare mag, a knife, whatever else you need that's minimalist. But ultimately, every woman that can choose to carry every single day is a win for Cakes.
Wait,
Absolutely.
I don't like carrying a concealed carry because it's uncomfortable too. So what
Hmm.
about me?
Yeah.
Oh, we do. Okay, so here's what happened. So my husband also was kind of like, hey, that's not fair. I co-founded this brand and we have nothing. You gotta be inclusive, gender inclusive, Tamkin. And so we created the tuxedo bag, which by the way is our most sold out bag. So that was
Wow.
the intention was let's make something a little more neutral looking, but very fancy still. Because Cakes is always going to be a fancy brand. It's never going to be like a super casual brand. It's going to be a little upscale. So we created like a leather kind of really rugged looking like men's bag. The women bought all of them. And because I guess it was still a good looking bag for women. Because then the women were like, oh, you got a bigger bag? I can put my Glock 17 in that. Like if I'm going to carry off body, I'm going to carry my big guns. And then so 75% of those customers ended up being women anyways, and it's been our most successful bag. So yes, we did make something, but it's sold out. So we're working on trying to, we're learning, we're trying to figure out this demand planning and all this additional things that fortunately, working with the DoD for a long time and their supply chain and procurement, I've got a little bit of experience there.
Hmm.
But I think because this was just new to us, first
Hmm.
to first to market is interesting because you don't know how your audience is going to behave.
Yeah.
And we're learning a lot and we're taking all of the feedback and we're working on more and more stuff that both guys and girls can carry.
I love it. So you said the move was tied into all of this. Are you moving from California to a different part of California, or did you go somewhere different?
We're away from California. And and I was
Congratulations.
like, thank you. I was the co-chair of the CRPA in Coachella Valley because I was very much, I feel really sad to say it, but I fought until the end.
Hmm.
And it was, only a few years, but I think with California, and it just makes me sad to say it and feel sad all over thinking about it, but I think it got just to a sinking ship when it comes to Second Amendment and gun rights and the way that, you know, the CRPA, GOA, all these organizations would just fight tooth and nail to protect Californians' gun rights, but
Yeah,
then Californians would vote against them.
I
Then we
know.
were just like, oh my gosh, like we got to get out of here because the Glock ban. Anyways, I'm gonna start ranting. So
Yes.
so it just got to the end when Cakes, now Cakes is a real company, and we're like, okay, we're doing this now. We're now transitioning into a C corporation. Like there's a lot that has to happen. And one of the things that has to happen if we ever do really want to go become a lifestyle brand is we're probably going to have to grow, take investment money and like grow cakes formally. And we would have to pay ourselves at that point. So we're in the process right now of being like, we're doing this, we're leaving everything, we're going to be on an actual payroll. And when we found out about payroll taxes as an employer, we were just like, okay, we're shopping for a home in a zero state income tax state.
Yep.
So we're home in Pahrump, Nevada now. And thank you. We're very close to the Staccato range that used to be front sight. Range 702 is 45 minutes away. They were the first gun store to carry our bags. So we've got a great relationship with them, and I'm trying to really just settle in. We when we first came here, we stayed in a hotel to shop for a home. And we came out to get breakfast and like a guy was open carrying, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like I just felt so good. I was like, yes. Every contractor that's come to help with our house, they see the cakes bag. In California, I was scared to show people what the cakes bag was because people would be offended. HR got on me at work. I mean, of course, I was definitely bringing my gun to work because who knows what's going to happen? You know, these disgruntled mass shooters. But here, folks are like, oh my God, how awesome. Like they're so happy. They want to tell their friends and their family. Yes. And in California, I lost friendships over starting to carry a weapon. It's very different now. I just feel like these are my people. We got folks flying American flags high everywhere. I feel so good. I feel patriotic. I saw one family out there with a big Gadsden flag, and I was like, these are my people. And there's goats and cows and horses, and I love animals.
So Tamkin, I have earlier you mentioned that. Did you say you were an ex-liberal?
I am an very liberal. I'm an ex-vegan. I was a vegan. I almost dyed my hair blue.
So what medicine or what did you do that changed that? Because I see that, people that never shot a gun before that are against guns, when they go out and they shoot and they're taught right, they love it. And it changes that part of their view, maybe not everything. And to be honest with you, some liberal views that I don't hate, but the gun issue is really, really bad in my point. But anyway, what made you change?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, it was the first gun. Me and my husband were both pretty like liberal, like, LA, like we just kind of grew up there and that's just how we were raised. That's our friend circle. And it was the gun. It was the first firearm because not only did I have such a positive experience with my firearms purchase, that ended up becoming my friend group, like, because I was alienated by the left. There's two things that happened. One, I was accepted by the gun community, and number two, I was alienated by the left. And then also going through legislation and policy and realizing what I had done, what I had voted for, and how now I can't protect myself. At the time, you could buy only one gun every 30 days in California, which is insane. Can you go to one protest every 30 days? Can you say, a bad word with your freedom of speech one time every 30 days? Like it's insane. But at the time we were feeling unsafe, COVID, all that stuff had happened. And we're like, hey, let's get a shotgun for the house and a pistol that we can conceal carry. Guess what? You can't do both in California. I immediately was like, who does that protect? It protects the criminals. I was like, wait, the mind blown, Yeah. And of course, because the folks out behind the gun counter, they were very receptive of, like just brand new gun owners coming in, and they didn't really try to put stuff down our throats either. They were just kind of like allowing us to just really grow into ourselves in the gun community. Yeah. And it helped a lot that they weren't just like going to reject us because we were kind of liberal vibes. And once I started getting in, I was like, hey, look, I'm still kind of liberal in these other senses, but I'm very, very no compromise on Second Amendment. Then I started seeing logical flaws in a lot of other things. And I'm going to be real with you. I was propagandized. And if you think about it, from a young, you grow up around your family, you guys are all propaganda, you watch CNN, MSNBC, you think that that's news. And there was a time I remember in middle school where you could pick up the LA Times and it was news. Like you could write, you have to do an article and write about it. Right. Nobody was like, is this propaganda?
Right.
Now I don't pick up any news without like verifying primary sources. But it started with the firearm because I was like, wow, I have been propagandized against my own rights. What?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and once I started getting involved, I just little by little, like the logical fallacies became apparent, and all I want is freedom. So there, like you were saying, like there's some things on the left, anything that is more freedom and more power to the individual and more constitution,
Mm,
100% I'm with it. So I
love it.
think it started with realizing that I was only taking my own rights away.
Hmm.
So let's make that a
Wow.
lesson for everybody to learn that, just because a liberal, you're introduced to a liberal doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You can work with that person because I do think that the propaganda is what's causing all these problems that we're having right now,
Hmm.
that they're not really understanding what's real,
Right.
and so you take somebody out shooting that's never shot before, it will change their opinions, and that's just a seed. That's all.
Hmm.
Once you know that you have that right to carry a firearm,
Hmm.
it changes everything. So thank you very much for that.
Oh yeah, I became radicalized. I didn't
Right.
even just change my views. I became radically like no compromise Second Amendment girl. And it was my goal to take every single friend shooting, especially the ones that were scared, and
Yes.
show them that this is a piece of plastic. I had friends that were actual non-liberals, they were conservatives that were scared of guns. That I was
Hmm.
like, girl, we're going to the range, and just shaking, just could not pick up that gun,
Yes.
just hands shaking. But
Yes.
after an hour, they were like, that was okay. And I brought my Glock 44, shoot some 22s. I was like, let's calibrate what we're gonna do
Hmm.
today.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like, and ultimately, the goal is to help people realize that this is ours. The Second
Yes.
Amendment is out. I don't know. You guys are gonna get me riled up and emotional, but but it's not locked. And I'm realizing more and more as Cakes is a brand that we're seeing all kinds of customers. So
Hmm.
we've got customers from the left, customers from the right. I don't care. I want armed women, period.
Exactly.
I want safe, armed, and empowered. And we're trying to keep Cakes an unapologetically 2A brand, but we're trying to stay out of the rest of the politics. We're just like, hey, 2A
Yes.
to the bone, 2A.
Yes.
And one of the things I'm noticing also that I want to share with you guys is that a vast majority of customer service calls that we're getting are from brand new shooters. Women that
Hmm.
are like, hey, I'm going to buy a bag. I have a 9mm. What do I do? And we're like, well, and I've in my customer service SOPs, because we're building systems, not just selling bags. It says if somebody cannot identify their firearm, make and model and caliber, immediate red flag, help them. We must help them. So we help
Yes.
them identify their firearm. And then the next step is forget the bag. Let's get you trained. Where
Yes.
are you? Let's find an instructor near you, preferably one that can, has experience with women and very, very like, has maybe a ladies' night at the range, whatever that is. Cakes will find that for you as a customer. It is part of our process. And I don't know if it's working. I just know that I need to do it. And now we're actually creating this a tool on our website. We're trying to create like a firearms instructor directory that
Hmm.
we're basically going through all of the instructors that we've connected with over this last like couple years of being in business that use a cakes bag, know about a cakes bag. We obviously don't want to send a customer to an instructor that is very anti off-body carry or is
Right.
willing to work. Like, hey, I'm not saying cakes is the only way to carry. It's an option. It's a tool in your toolbox. Don't scare the girl, please. Just
Yes.
help her. So they're going to be able to find an instructor in their area that will help them get started. Because as soon as we find out that someone is a brand new shooter, which is a lot, we're seeing it's amazing. We're seeing so many new shooters that are choosing to carry because they're like, oh, now I have something that I feel like, you know, say the bar is lowered, but it's almost like the intimidation factor is lowered. That
Yes.
they're like, oh, this is not like this weird, crazy, Wild West kind of, like, outlaw
Hmm.
type of thing that I have to do. It's something I can do as a mom, as,
Yep.
as a normal girl that, that goes on walks and her dogs, with her dogs in the evening. So, so we're trying to build this entire kind of like you're saying, a movement, right? We're
Yes.
not even intending for it. It's happening. The movement is beyond me. It's
I
happening, and I'm
love
just
it.
here for the ride. And we just want to do everything we can to make sure that every person that is the Cakes customer is taken care of. And we don't make any money off on this. It's part of my job description for my customer service team. Is like if someone needs training, we will
Mhm.
find them the training. And our social media manager is a firearms instructor as well. So all the girls that are writing the DMs, she's an instructor. She's going to help them. Like I am confident in that.
That
So
is
when
amazing.
when COVID happened, we saw several people come to our stores that were trying to buy a gun for the first time.
Lines around the
And
building.
right,
It was crazy.
and if you don't coach those people, then they're going to buy the gun, they're going to load it, put it in their dresser, and walk away from it.
Mhm.
They have to go through the training and not mandatory, but
Yeah.
voluntarily go through the training so that they really know how to use their tool.
Right.
So I think that's very important. You had said you didn't know how much it affects or something. It's super important
Yeah.
because it's just one person you touch is
No, it's so true. And just to touch back on what Danny was saying earlier is that, well, let that be a lesson to our audience out there that, when we had those people coming to us during COVID and all the riots and everything, and people for the first time in their lives, just like you and your husband, were realizing, wait, the help isn't coming. Help is right here. But how do we help ourselves? And it was such an honor for us to be able to interact with people in that particular place in their life journey. And there was none of all of the divisions just fell away. And, now here we are 6 years later after COVID, and it feels like division is everywhere. And like you can't even begin to have a conversation. But you are such an example. And as Danny was saying, your story and your husband's is such an example that we can never shut the door. We can never conclude for other people that they're a lost cause and they're never going to listen, to freedom ideas and that sort of thing. And so this is such an important point. I just wanted to really like kind of hammer it in,
Yeah.
right?
It takes a
And
seed. You just plant a seed and it may do nothing. It's like one of those cactus seeds. For
Mhm.
years, you're like, is this thing gonna grow? And then one day it rains on a rainy day when things get bad is when that seed will start to grow.
I love
Tamkin,
that.
if I have an argument with you and I tell you that no, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that, and all I'm doing is feeding you this stuff, you're not listening to me.
You're not
But if
going
I
to
but
listen.
if I talk to you in a tone that's a good tone and tell you my opinion, when you go to bed at night, you're going to think about that
Yeah.
and just putting that seed in there. So too many times, and especially it seems like on the liberal side, when they try to feed you with their information, they force it down your throat. So all you do is get mad. You don't listen to a word they say.
Yeah.
Whereas I try to have conversations with people. I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis, and some of them, the wife didn't like the guns, but the husband had them, and they called me to come and get them. And we have these talks, and there's some that are just, they got the CNN blowing in the background and really loud, and you're talking to them, and they just want to feed you that information and just force it down you to prove they're right and you're wrong. And you got to know how to just kind of just,
Yeah.
you know, play with it a little bit and just kind of throw a couple ideas in there, but not argue with them. That's what we need. We need to communicate, even if we don't agree with that person. We need to talk
Yeah,
because
we got
that's
to
how
have
we can.
discourse.
Right.
And I will give you guys a kind of an example of recent argument that I've had. But a lot of times we want the same thing on the
Yes.
left and the right, but we're
Yes.
just going about it in different ways. And the noise is just too much and we can't hear each other anymore. I recently had a discussion online about, I have leather bags. My bags are 100% full grain cowhide leather. And as an ex-vegan, this was a
Mm,
step, right? So the reason I was a vegan was because I love animals and I want them to be treated well. I
mm,
love, like, I see livestock. I love them with all my heart. And I just want to make sure those animals are living a good life. And I want to make sure that whoever's the farmer is taking care of those animals. Like they're precious to me. They're like my
mhm,
dog. Like it's the same for me. Now,
mhm.
factory farming is what I'm against. I'm not against just generally like, I don't want the animals to be abused, like these giant
Yes.
Corp Tyson and, these terrible Monsanto, all these guys. So then I realized, I'm trying to just eat this plastic garbage to like just protect the animals. And that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm funding the other side of the petroleum waste products of these other
Mm,
large corporations. And I'm like, wait, that's not what I'm trying to do. And I realized that the most ethical thing I can do for animal consumption is hunt. Because those animals
So
live
true.
they are free until they die. They
Yes.
live on their own terms. They're completely free. They raise their own families. Or I go to like a sustainable farmer where
Yeah.
these farmers are out there and they love that they know Bessie's name, Sue's name, Peggy's name, all their cows have names. And these farmers love their animals. And
Yes.
I'm like, wow, like I'm supporting these crazy right-wingers. Like when actually what I'm trying to achieve as a crazy blue-haired vegan is
Hmm.
exactly what these hunters are achieving. It's like it's a
Right?
full circle where it's like, wait a minute, in order for me to ensure 100% that this animal lived a free life
Yeah.
and one that was intended by God is by hunting. And I was like, whoa, like I just went full circle. So
Yeah.
now I want like I'm very, very supporter of hunting and fishing. And I feel like that's the way. Let's go back to nature. Let's do it the way God intended. And so I had this argument with a vegan, and the crazy thing is a lot of my cake supporters were jumping on this girl, and I'm like, hey, look, first of all, she's a cake customer. Let's leave her. Hey, she's carrying a gun. Second of all, I understand what she wants. She wants animal ethics. And
Yeah.
so I was trying to just be like, hey, look, yes, yes, it's a dead animal skin that's on there. But
Mm.
I don't know about other brands, but I flew to Bangladesh to go
Mm.
meet the cows. And we don't do factory farming in Bangladesh because you can't. It's a hillside.
Hmm.
So every single cow that is sourced in these tanneries in northern Bangladesh are family cows. They are raised in villages with families. And then in Bangladesh, they have this as a Muslim holiday, Eid, where they slaughter a cow and then they share the meat. And that there's like a surge of leather because everybody knows like, hey, look, we want to use every part of this cow.
Yes.
And I've got videos that show like the families that own these cows, and like when it's time for slaughter, they are just crying. They're just like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, like we got to do this. But at the end of the day, we're going to use every part of this cow that lived a good life, that we take care of, that my son was sneaking snacks to, and like kind of like your dog, don't feed the dog human food, but they like take a banana out to the cow because they love their cows. And I'm like, I don't know about other brands, but I can tell you with cakes, how many founders are going to fly to the cow? I am
Yeah.
because I actually care about that as an ex-liberal vegan. Because to me,
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's like, I want to do what's right. And
Hmm.
so guess what? That girl ended up, she found out she actually owns a holster shop. And she ended up saying, can you send me a couple of those nylon bags that just have a little bit of leather? And she's a huge supporter now. So it was
Nice.
by connecting with them, even
Yes.
though of course all the other cake customers were piling on. I'm
Yes.
able to get cakes bags in a holster shop
Yes.
because all I had to do was just kind of listen and express that, hey,
Yes.
look, I understand. It's not perfect, but I'm doing what I can because I
Right.
understand where you're coming from.
Oh, I
And
love
yeah, there's
that.
a convert.
I love it. We are almost out of time
Oh my
already, and
gosh.
I feel like I have so many more things I want to ask you, but gosh,
We haven't seen the bag yet.
we
Oh
haven't seen the bag
my
yet.
God.
Let's see the bag.
I've got a bag right here. This is actually one of the nylon bags. As you can see, it's really small. It's small and cute. You wear it right here. Hold on. I don't know if you can see me, but
Yes.
just wear it right here on your body. The strap goes across. And this is one of, you can see kind of like the leather trims. Oh, here's the camera. I'm showing the screen. We have a safety card, 4 rules of firearm safety come with every bag. We've also got a QR code that you can scan and get little videos like video training. And it opens. I've got some stuffing in here, so let me take that out. And it opens just like that.
You don't have to zip it, open
Nope.
it, just open.
No,
Okay.
it's got our utility patent of this emergency pull tab system. So the bag actually opens from inside, and you can kind of see how the tab pulls the bag open and splits the magnetic force. But I wish I could kind of show you guys, but you really cannot pull this bag open. Like if you pinch it and pull it, I'm gonna pull it from the zipper. It takes a lot of force to do that.
Uh-huh.
Whereas
Okay.
like when you peel it from the inside, it's really, really easy. But yeah, it's magnetic. It's lockable. There's a little locking loop in the back as well. Semi-lockable. It's not official. I don't know about state laws, what a lockable container means, but if you don't want, your kids to access it, you need a little extra safety. You can throw a little TSA lock, any of your choice on it. Your phone goes back here. Take this out. Your phone goes back here. And you can wear another belt around your waist if you want 3 points of stability, if you're going to go for a walk, or that way if you bend down, the bag's not swinging around. It just stays
Mhm.
right there, appendix. And yeah, it's just a cute little bag. Simple. Wasn't
Yes.
so hard.
Yes, I love it. Very pretty. And green's my favorite color,
Yeah,
so
this is
that's a
our OG
winner.
green. Yes, it's honestly one of my favorite bags. It's so gorgeous. And this one is the nylon material, which honestly we didn't make this for customers either. We made it for the instructors because they were like, "Hey, we don't want to ruin our leather bag. We want to go
Mm.
train." So we made a version for our instructors that ended up blowing
Being
up.
the
The
thing.
customers were like, "We want the nylon bag too."
I love it.
So
I love it.
yeah, that's cakes.
Well, it is beautiful for sure. I think where I want to end on is that, you do have a passion, you have a vision, and this feels like a mission. And so you have kind of vision casted that cakes could become like a very large company. You mentioned having investors. And, if it does become the $100 million brand that you envision, what impact beyond revenue do you want this company to have?
I want cakes. This is a very easy question. I want cakes to be a good steward of the Second Amendment. And there's only one mission that cakes has is to arm and empower women, period. So that could be through anything. That could be through creating great products that were filling a gap in the market. That could be through connecting students with instructors. That could be through having a community, having events and retreats. That could be through, myriad different products. It's really a lifestyle that we're trying to build. It's a lifestyle brand, and ultimately, I see cakes becoming like more than just a brand name. It's more of like, the idea of cakes is the pretty girl that has a gun. And so
Yeah,
it's like that's every girl. I don't want people to look at cakes and think, oh, this is, X product or XY, or this person is a model, this person is a firearms instructor. I see that a lot with a lot of these other brands where I don't see myself. Uh, you know what I mean? Your brand is not me. I want
hmm,
every woman to look at cakes and say, that could be me,
yeah,
like period. No matter where you're at, no matter what size, shape, color, ethnicity, background, political leaning, it doesn't matter. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to protect yourself, and you have a God-given right to carry a firearm.
love it.
So that's what Cakes is going to do. It's going to be zero compromise on those values. I don't care who Warren Buffett can come and invest in Cakes, but if any of that is messed with, I would rather burn it to the ground
Yeah,
than to have a company that has different values.
I love it. That's fantastic. Tell folks how they can follow all of the amazing work that you are doing and the company that you are building.
So our website is cakesconcealed.com, and our Instagram handle is at cakes.concealed. You can reach out to us on either of those places. We've got a contact page if you want to just say hi, if you want to give us a follow, or if you want to co-create content with us as well. If anyone's got a cakes bag already out there, all you got to do is collaborate with us on Instagram and we will feature you on our page. I think the women who carry cakes is what makes cakes great. So we just want to connect with every single woman out there.
I love it. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. Best of luck with the move in your new state of Nevada. And we'll definitely be checking back in with you as time goes on.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Tamkin Collins. How awesome. Bye bye. Oh gosh. All right. We really pushed that time limit right to the edge today. But seriously, I could have kept talking to her. That passion just exudes from her. Tamkin Collins, thank you so much for spending time with us today and building a brand that is just for normal ladies, right?
I I'm just amazed that how we can prove that just talking to people and not arguing with them, but just talking with people
Mhm.
can change a person. I
Yes,
mean,
and
she
I'm
was a
so
strong
proud.
liberal.
I am so proud of the gun shop that they walked
Yes.
into, because that is who we are as a community. That is who we were when we had a retail gun shop, and the caricature that has been built of the American gun owner and the American gun store owner is just find out for yourself.
And we've,
We're
if you,
good people.
if you look back over the years, we were losing our gun rights more than we are now.
Mhm.
We're starting to push back now, and the reason we're pushing back is because of women. You can argue that point with me all day long, and I still feel strong.
I agree.
Women,
I am a woman, so I
women are the change.
I agree. All right. We also want to thank all of our amazing listeners and viewers all over the planet. Bangladesh probably has some listeners and viewers, right? Where Tamkin's from. And so when you spend your time with us, that is so valued. Your time is your most finite resource. If you want to listen to the audio only version of this, then go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab, and
Binge listen to hot content.
darling. If you want to watch the video over again or share it, we love it when you share the videos. You can find us on Rumble, YouTube. Again, now that we're out of YouTube jail,
We're out.
officially yesterday. Yes, today is July 28th, 2026. We've been in there for 3 months. We are finally out. So find us on YouTube. We're going to try to go back and restore all of the shows that we couldn't post for those 3 months. So lots to catch up on there. And when you go to those channels, those formats, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all of the things, because that tells the algorithm that this is important information for you. And it gives us that hedge against getting in jail again. All right, if you want to see photos and bios and links to Cakes Concealed and all of the guests that we've ever had on, click the guest tab on our website, gunfreedomradio.com, and it is an ever-growing database of subject matter experts. When you spend time there, we don't hate that. All right, the companies that support the work that we do, you're going to see a theme here. American made, American jobs on American soil. The first one I want to tell you about is patriotmobile.com/GFR for Gun Freedom Radio. Everyone has a cell phone. Everyone needs a cell phone carrier. Go to Patriot Mobile, switch over. You get to keep your phone, keep your values, keep your number, right? And
Keep your freedom too.
Keep your freedom. I love it. PatriotMobile.com. Also, when you go to shop at those big box stores to get your shampoo and laundry soap and all that kind of stuff, why give them your money? They're fighting against your rights actively. Instead, go to this invitation-only shopping club, patriothousehold.com/GFR. You have just officially been invited by Dan and Cheryl Todd. patriothousehold.com. Set your order and forget it like I do, or shop as you go. Finally, very quickly, you are forward-thinking enough to have your tool of self-protection, to get your training. If you need to use that training and that tool of self-protection, or any tool of self-protection, the law will visit itself upon you, and you will need an attorney on retainer. Go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click on the homepage, scroll down to attorneys on retainer. Click through there. We get a small portion of every subscription, every membership. Our family all have memberships to attorneys on retainer, and I highly encourage you to do the same. We've got to go. Until next time, we're going to pray for our nation. We're going to pray for our
leaders, even the ones we don't like,
Maybe.
especially the ones we don't like the most.
Ooh,
Some of the ones that we cannot stand.
nice. Well done. And until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week, and God bless.
Bye-bye.